remarkably wonderful when it comes to the kind of Champions League competition I'm having this season. It tells you, say, the records are there. They started this particular Champions League on a low note to the extent that they were not seen as one of these clubs during the start of the campaign. Now competing with most of the notable football clubs because after the Qatari investment, it took over for PSG. They've had that kind of plan. They need to go in all out and win the UEFA Champions League. So when they started against even Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool, and other clubs or more compete and also the Champions League spot back to back, PSG has remained that low, silent football club. They've not been able to come up with a lot of things on which But then when they started, in the last 8 games that PSG about this season in the UEFA Champions League, 8 games number ball, 4 wins, 3 defeats, and just a draw this season in the UEFA Champions League. When you are counting on these particular kind of stats in the Champions, it tells you, say, PSG, into the playoff matches now. They came in as unseeded football club when they were in this particular group stages. No more into that particular playoff. Fast forward, Omutimi qualify Kushia Liverpool Football Club. A Liverpool Football Club in the record of the UEFA Champions League this season, nobody have a 100% record without a defeat. But when they met Luis Enrique as one of these experienced football managers in the world of football, he made sure the side of PSG Football Club that qualify into the quarter-final stage of this competition. And against Aston Villa, he was able to trash Aston Villa by 3-1. It tells you the kind of manner as a particular football manager, not only with PSG Football Club, but even at Barcelona. When Barca was actually triumphing in that particular climax or the Champions League in 2015, we saw the kind of winning percentage streak of the Barca in 2015 when he had that success with the Barcelona Football Club. After his fallout with the Lionel Messi in the 2015 team, he came out in that kind of moment at ultimately Edema Barcelona. So in terms of this particular competition, some of these managers are more experience in the competition. You can count on Luis Enrique at any moment in time with that beautiful performance in the UEFA Champions League this season. But Sawoko France, a lot of tabloids, ultimately reported say Olympique Marseille threw a lot of jabs against PSG Football Club because of now they are actually laughing at the wrong side of their mouth. Say PSG now ultimately competing in the UEFA Champions League this season now, will be in the semi-final stage of this particular competition. And that has been the rivalry between PSG and the Olympique Marseille. In football, rivalry accounted to climax the era of football. It may signify beautiful moments. Say 2 football clubs having 2 beautiful beefs, no making sure that beef may have a large encounter and as a bit may influence their impact on that said football clubs, and even on that said region. It is actually important. But when you go to the French Liga and even into the France, although Olympique Marseille was established as latter part in 1899 as compared to PSG Football Club, which was established in the latter part of 1970. But when it comes to football rivalry, Omutimi exists very because Olympique Marseille, that sole French football club, dominated in the early part of 1960s to the early 1970s, even to the 1990s. Now they were that particular French league football club. They were dominating not only in France, but then they were dominating in Europe. So when they were dominating even in the 1990s, the 1993 will be that particular recount of how Olympique Marseille had their successful encounter in winning the Champions League, going to the finals against AC Milan when they won that kind of trophy. With Papa Efense Abedi, Ayu Pela no by the Olympique Marseille. Not only with that particular rivalry, but what checking the city of Paris and the city of Olympique Marseille, and also the city of Marseille, represented 2 different sides. Paris having the color of blue, red, and white. And now the blue and red and white represent the symbol of Paris as a city and the Paris as a town. Paris as a town is the capital town of France and it represented the power of war over the France. When it comes to wealth, Paris as a city, economically, there were a lot of investors. Invested in the city of Paris in terms of glamour. In the whole world, we don't talk about the fashion week or Paris. The Paris Fashion Week, is actually recognized as one of these beautiful Paris glamour we say. But when you talk about Marseille as a city, Marseille is just a port city, or more economy, or Marseille or our form. So in terms of these difference between Paris and Marseille, you get in touch. Say Paris as a city have a lot of influence, have a lot of power, have a lot of wealth, and they have that kind of people they can easily thrive over them. And they are having a particular football club or investment in the latter part of 1990s, even when they established a football club in 1970s. When these two men came together to establish that particular football club called PSG football, already the Olympic Marseille was playing in the top flight. They dominated from 1989 to 1993, and even in that particular successful year, they were able to win the French Liga continuously for 5 basic times. From 1998 to 1993, they were able to do that particular thing in the French football. They had that particular record. But then PSG for a first triumph in the French Liga coming up in 1994. That was the basic timer. Now Olympic Marseille so dominating in the French Liga. Because in 1993, they dominated. From 1983 to 1993, dominating in the French Liga, winning the trophies for about 5 times. Almost the UEFA Champions League also in 1993, a whole lot of things in the course. So under Bernard Tapie, who was the president of that particular football club. So when compared to PSG at that time, PSG after a normal investment with the Canal Plus, it is successful. So nothing more dominating Ediba. But Olympic Marseille really that kind of tense rivalry between PSG and then the Olympic Marseille. Which at the call back in 2010, sir, it will actually tell you, say, at that time, Olympic Marseille came back to dominate, whilst PSG was also struggling. Although, say, at that particular moment in time, now PSG, there were a lot of things not more yet, but PSG was struggling to win the French Liga during that particular era from 2000s to 2010. But then PSG essentially dominated over the French Liga and even the world of football when the Qatari investment took over in 2011, when they started doing a lot of things, signing big name players and signing a lot of things for PSG Football Club. Maybe a PSG Baby Juno. What they need in their life is the Champions League that they need. And this season, they are doing a lot of although so much of just 15 goals, they've conceded 9 goals as we speak right now. The goal difference between this particular, 15 goals and 9 goals of Macron is just 6 goals. It tells the PSG Football Club, this season the Champions League, and far more. But under Luis Enrique, who has actually seen that particular trial before with FC Barcelona, and who has won the PSG and also the French League back to back, French League, it tells you, say, at any moment in time, they can easily win the UEFA Champions League at any moment. But for FC Barcelona, Flake, it might create a certain image of Barcelona. Open most of these two coaches might create history with Barca, Gerard Martino, and then Ernesto Valverde. Gerard Martino, the first 7 matches with FC Barcelona, he won consistently, or winning in a 100% streak, winning the match side of Barcelona. Ernesto Valverde, when he was the coach for Barcelona, the first 7 matches, he won the first 7 matches for FC Barcelona. The same thing applies to Papa Reference Hansen Flick. The first 7 matches for FC Barcelona, he has won it. So was set that particular record at the tour. What the call in 2015, Luis Enrique record back to back. It was that kind of consistent winning streak when you had the Barcelona. 33 matches unbeaten. And the side of FC Barcelona. And this particular man called Hansen Flick has stretched that kind of record to 34 unbeaten winning streak for FC Barcelona this season. It tells you, say, Barca under Hansi Flick is propelling a lot of things for his side. Scoring 145 goals. He is not having that cluster and also that glamour of players. Albert Macase, we have Lionel Messi, we have Xavi Hernandez, we have Iniesta, we have Rakitic, we have Fabregas, team that kind of goals. No. This is a certain team low youth belittle football club players or accompany in that particular football club, and they've scored 145 goals. Only for Robert Lewandowski to score 40 goals this season. It tells you, say, the football now is not only about a certain age or 36 years, but it's about how experienced you are and how you can easily play the football, giving that particular availability of space that you can easily thrive and create a lot of goals for yourself. Robert Lewandowski is scoring close to about 40 goals. Rafinha actually close to about 20 plus goals this season for the side of FC Barcelona. Ferran Torres actually 16 goals for the side of FC Barcelona. And Lamine Yamal actually close to about 14-15 goals for Barcelona this season. It tells you, say, it's not only about Robert Lewandowski, but some kind of players waiting that team is creating a good image for the side of FC Barcelona. Another thing for the side of Hansi Flick, they say, when you go to a particular football club, you say, Oko Club, you do what the Romans do. Yeah. But then Hansi Flick came to FC Barcelona, made sure say they have an identity and they have their culture. The culture, and they say, the FC Barcelona is seen as a particular football club, but they understand football and they always want their youth developing football to actually triumph over the team A. It is also in the 1992 when Barca was competing in NAFA. You could easily see, say, Barca in 1992, majority of these players are coming from the La Masia. When Barca was dominating in 2009, 2010, 2011, under Professor Pep Guardiola, there was a certain players are no more dominating La Masia. When Barca dominating in 2015, it was purely La Masia players no more dominating. When this man came, he understood, said, it's not about culture, but it's not transfer culture from your nationality to a particular nationality. You cannot come into a particular society and try to assimilate their culture, but you come in and you make sure so you will understand your culture and then you will incorporate what you have with your culture together with the other two. So what check with the Barca, Flekaba, what may invent close to about 10 more players to the team A of FC Barcelona, which of them are winning the La Masia players and they are doing very well. One of them Omutimi the side of FC Barcelona. You could easily say a lot of players, not only about Lamine Yamal, not only about Ansu Fati, not only about Pedro, not only about Gavi, but Alejandro Bardini, Pau Kubasi, and most of the players waiting media Mabano, they are doing very well for FC Barcelona. But if say Barca a bit set the record straight, that's all many a lot of trophies are. They had two managers who did the world records for them. Guardiola edged sister Paul at the moment in that particular number of years at him. Hansi Flick under Bayern Munich in 2020-21 season, they also had that kind of record, winning the sister pole for Bayern Munich in that particular season. A reality we may buy and as a football, only two managers in it at the moment, two football clubs, Pep Guardiola and Hansi Flick. Maybe a Flick nominal for FC Barcelona. I'm seeing Flick winning treble this season, and when he competes in any other competition in next season, Hansi Flick can easily win a lot of trophies for the side of FC Barcelona using this particular low players or more. One thing with my FC Barcelona is how he has been able to sustain the club financially. At the time of Barca currently as you speak, or commercial value as what no more just 1% of what they earned last season. And this particular man will come in and tell them, so mom to play Biafamba. But then he will use a lot of things or one just for the football club to be attractive to the people or more. And the FC Barcelona commercial value only is rising more than 10% to 14%. That is the magical touch of Hansi Flick.
Fantastic. It's your maestro, na Ujana Suputapa, the maestro.
DIABY.
The maestro.
DIABY.
The maestro. Say hi, champion man. Good afternoon. This season Champions League is for PSG. Period. I'm Yakini from Koko of Marseille, Nordifieba, Babi.